to Living with Moxie, where Shefali Burns and Donna Martouche, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world of business, education, and coaching, share ideas, resources, and strategies from the hosts and their guests to provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. Join us for unique insights from outstanding achievers in business, relationships, health, finances, and living as they share strategies, wisdom, and lessons learned on the path to extraordinary living. Are you ready to live with Moxie?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living with Moxie on OMTimes Radio. I'm your host, Shefali Burns. My co-host is absent today, Donna Martouche, so it's just me flying solo. That's okay. So today we're talking about can you have success without spirit? So some of the things that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to do some processes during this show as well. We're going to talk about, how many people used to believe that you could not be spiritual and be wealthy. And I'm going to say many people used to believe, and I think there are still some that still do. So we'll talk about that. And what if being spiritual is actually required to be wealthy? And what does it mean to truly be wealthy? And what does success mean in today's world? And what does it mean to you? So we're going to talk about that and much more, like always. Who knows what's going to come up, right? So let's start off, first of all, with that belief is so rampant right now in our industry, in our society still, about that you can't be spiritual and be wealthy at the same time. And, where did that come from, right? So in the past, and, probably still now, in our old belief systems, many people used to believe that you could not be spiritual and wealthy, because to be spiritual meant that your focus was only on serving God and the divine, and that you would be taken care of. So you didn't need money on your own. And if you had wealth, it meant that you weren't really spiritual, that you were a fraud. And so, in the olden days, for example, rich families would support people who were focused on the divine, on God, usually with the church, right? And a lot of us who are healers and light workers and in the self-help industry movement, I think some of us in the past, we had taken vows of poverty, right? We were saints, or we were monks, or we were nuns, or something to that effect, right? And so we had taken these vows of poverty to show our dedication and faith and our commitment to God, divine, and the church. So nowadays, when so many people are kind of still struggling with that, like they are spiritual, and they just can't seem to make as much money as they would like, right? And so there's this big dichotomy that's still going on. And so they're not able to be as wealthy as they like, or if they want to be, they have a hard time charging. They feel guilty for charging people. And I'll be honest, the culture that I come from, in India, there's lots of saints, right? Lots of saints, lots of yogis, all that kind of stuff. And they go door to door begging for food, right? Begging for clothes, and they're given clothes and they're given food. And so, they're supposed to give freely of their gifts, right? Their spiritual gifts. And their teachings and their knowledge and their wisdom, they pray for others and they pray for humanity and they meditate, all that wonderful stuff, right? So I used to have that belief as well, in my own life. It's like, well, I can't be rich, I can't be wealthy and be spiritual at the same time. There's like, I just can't do it. And how can I give, charge for my energy work, or charge for my healing work, or charge for my coaching when I'm helping people? Right? So many people are still trapped in that. But really, those days are gone. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. You can be spiritual and you can be wealthy at the same time. So there's nothing wrong with it, because the more wealth you have, and we're going to talk about what wealth really means later on, but most people think of wealth as money, right? So the more wealth that you do have, the more you can do charitable acts and events and give freely, you can give to more people if you want. You can really help more people if you are more wealthy, right? You can create foundations, you can create different platforms, and serve more people with, because let's face it, right now money is it's a strong influence in our society, right? And the world does go around with money. It's just an energy. And so once you tap into that, in that it's just energy, there's nothing negative about it, there's nothing positive about it, it's just energy. And how much of that energy do you want to go through you? See, it's about going through. It's not just about hoarding it and accumulating it, but have it go through you so that you're receiving it and you're distributing it out as well, right? So yeah, sure, keep some for yourself, absolutely, but have that constant flow going, So that's the important thing, is about the flow. So I'm going off on a tangent, yay. But let's talk about this belief, first of all, that you cannot be spiritual and be wealthy at the same time. So I just want you to all just take a deep breath and center yourself. And, bring to mind all of the times that you had thoughts, feelings, emotions around wealth and spirituality. Let them all come up to the surface and ask yourself, are they true for you at this time? Yes or no? And sometimes ask, do they work for me? Does that belief work for me? So if they are not true for you, would you like to let them go, to release them? So take a deep breath, focus on your heart space. So everywhere, in all times, dimensions, spaces, and realities, where you held the beliefs around spirituality and wealth that no longer serve you, that do not work for you anymore, that are not true for you anymore, are you willing to let them go? So take a deep breath and breathe in ease, joy, love, and light. And breathe out everything that no longer serves you. So imagine those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions, those energies are leaving your energy field and your being and going down deep into Mother Earth to be transmuted. Just let them all go. Take another deep breath and breathe in ease, joy, love, and light. And breathe out what no longer serves you. So as you are letting go of these limiting beliefs, these limiting thoughts, these emotions and energies, you're becoming lighter and more expansive. So now we want to bring in, always bring in more energies of pure divine love. So just take a deep breath and we're going to bring these energies in now of pure divine love, pure divine abundance, pure divine wealth, and pure divine joy to fill up your being even more. And this is an exercise that you can do on a regular basis. When something is not working in your life, it usually has to do with some belief that you're holding on to. And you can ask yourself, does this work for me? How is this working for me? Right? And is it true for you? You can ask yourself, is this belief true for me? And then just consciously and imagining, just let it go. Imagine that it's gone. It's releasing from your field, your being, and going down into Mother Earth. Because as you imagine, you're creating at the same time. Okay? So it's not just about the physical concrete, but you can also imagine and visualize, and that is just as real. So it's something I wanted to share with everyone, that you can start to imagine that for yourself. You can start to look at that for yourself. Anywhere where you are looking at wealth in a way that doesn't serve you. So, if you're looking at wealthy people and you get a reaction of some sort, look at that and say, okay, does this work for me? Yes or no? Is this true for me? So you might say, well, wealthy people are greedy, or wealthy people are not nice, or not friendly, or not helpful, or something to that effect. And ask yourself if that's true. Really go into your heart space and ask, is that true for you? And if it's not, then let it go, so that, you'll be more expansive, more and more light, and more filled with, more energies that are more empowering for you, right? Because these thoughts and feelings and beliefs and emotions around lack and scarcity and judgments around spirituality and wealth, they're limiting you. They're holding you back from, more of what you could achieve and more of what you can have for yourself. So it's really important to take a look at your thoughts, take a look at the words that you're using, the feelings that are coming up for you, um, your past stories that you keep telling yourself, right? About wealthy people, about spirituality. Are they really true for you now in this moment, right? So in this moment, is it true for you? And that's what you want to look at, because we are living from moment to moment, right? We are always in the moment. So in this moment, does it work for you? So I want you to really take that in and process that for yourself and see if how that works for you. Does that feel good to you? Does that feel true for you, that you can ask yourself these questions and let that energy go, right? Because it's always about being proactive, right? Being conscious and co-creating. And, people talk about co-creating with the universe, but I'm just talking about creating with yourself, So you are creating your universe, your reality in every moment of every day. And part of that has to do with the thoughts and the feelings and emotions that you have and the beliefs that are coming up, and taking a look at them as they're coming up or ignoring them. So what are you choosing to do? Are you choosing to look at them and say, oh, I don't like this doesn't work for me, I'm going to let it go? Or are you just not even seeing it? That's something to look at, right? So this is the first part, just about your beliefs around spirituality, the beliefs around wealth and being wealthy, and how are you feeling about that, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about, what if being spiritual is actually required to be wealthy, and what that means. Um, and we're going to talk about what it means to be truly wealthy and much more when we come back from break here on Living with Moxie on OMTimes Radio. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Spiritual, metaphysical, green living, psychic, alternative healing, life coaching. Do any of these or similar terms apply to your business or cause? If so, you are in a niche market with a very specific audience. Conscious Gate PR is the world's leading conscious public relations agency. With a global reach of over 4 million and growing, we offer comprehensive media campaigns to our targeted market. Learn more at ConsciousGatesPR.com. Conscious marketing for conscious minds.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
I left my heart in San Francisco.
Hi, this is Tony Bennett, and I'm a volunteer for LifeBeat. The music industry fights AIDS. We all know that there are some new medications for people with AIDS, but there is still no cure. This is why I personally volunteer for LifeBeat. The AIDS crisis is not over, and people need help. Volunteer for your local AIDS organization. They need you.
Hello, everyone. We are back on Living with Moxie. I'm your host, Shefali Burns. I'm flying solo today. Unfortunately, Donna Martouge, my co-host, could not be with us today. That's okay. We're talking about, can you have success without spirit? And before the break, we did a process about letting go of limiting beliefs around spirituality and wealth, right? So, because many people used to believe that you could not be spiritual and be wealthy at the same time. So we've let go of some of those beliefs and those energy patterns for good. So now we're going to talk about what if being spiritual is actually required to be wealthy, right? So, being spiritual means, to me anyways, being filled with spirit. And spirit includes qualities and energies of wealth and abundance. It also means being in the flow of spirit, the flow of energy, abundance, wealth, and joy. So the more connected that you are to spirit, the more receptive you are to the flow of energy in your life, and wealth, money, and abundance. That's all energy. So the more you let go of all those ancient beliefs that you cannot be spiritual and be wealthy, the more you will receive and enjoy wealth and share wealth with others if you desire. So let me ask you a question right now. What would it take for you to be open to the flow of wealth, abundance, love, and joy in your life, right? So what would it take for you to be open up to the flow of wealth, abundance, love, and joy in your life? Well, sometimes it's as simple as claiming it as your divine right, claiming it as your divine inheritance. You are a powerful being, a magnificent being, a sovereign being. And the more that you accept that, the more you can begin to manifest that in your life, right? So what it means is that you are an empowered being. You're not limited. So let's talk quickly about what is the definition of wealth, right? So the definition of wealth is an abundance of valuable possessions or money, the state of being rich, material prosperity, plentiful supplies of a particular resource. So think for yourself, what does wealth mean to you? It means different things to different people, right? So what does wealth mean to you? And you might want to write that down. Just when you think of the word wealth and you ask yourself, what does wealth mean to me? Just start writing down whatever comes to you, right? And so when I'm talking about what if being spiritual is actually required to be wealthy, what does that really mean, right? It means the more open you are to the flow, the more open you are to the energy, the more connected you are to spirit, the more energy is going to flow through you, right? And so wealth, like we said, is an energy, and being wealthy just means being filled with that wealth energy, right? And letting it flow through you. And so the more that you are connected to spirit, the more that you are taking inspired actions through spirit, being receptive to those messages and nudges and insights from spirit, to follow those, the more you'll be open to the flow. But it also means the more connected you are to spirit, all your stuff is going to come up, right? So all those beliefs that you're holding on to, they're going to come up for you to look at. And then the more that you can release those, the more open you are to receiving more of the flow of spirit into your life. If that makes sense. And the flow of spirit, you can define that any way you want. And part of that includes wealth. Part of that includes money. Part of that includes abundance, joy, love, all those wonderful, beautiful qualities that we're all searching for. So are you required to be spiritual to be wealthy? Yes, absolutely. Because the more connected you are to spirit, the more open you are to spirit, the more open you are to the flow, then the more that you will be able to focus on being wealthy. And then that means by focusing on those activities and those ideas that generate more wealth, right? So it's not just about feeling it and being it. That's one step, absolutely. But then you have to take inspired action, because we are living this 3D reality where it is an action-oriented reality where you do have to take action to make things happen, right? So the more that you would like to have more wealth in your life, it's about creating it. How do you create it? How do you generate it? What do you do with it, right? So it's about being in your heart space and asking those types of questions. Like, what would it take for me to have more wealth in my life? What would it take for me to generate more wealth in my life? What would it take for me to create more wealth in my life? Asking those questions and then waiting for the inspired messages and nudges and insights, and then taking action on those to bring those ideas to fruition, right? To bring those insights and nudges and messages into fruition, into concreteness per se, right? And so part of that, starts with visualizing. What do you want to create in your life? What would you like to experience? And how would you like to express yourself in this reality? And the more you can do that from that space of connectedness to spirit, the more you'll be able to generate that revenue, generate that abundance, generate that wealth, and then you will start to see what it feels like to really be wealthy. They say, some people say that you have to feel it first, experience it internally first, and then you experience it in the outer reality, right? Well, absolutely. But, what that really means is that once you feel that connection to spirit, once you feel that connection to the divinity, once you know that you are that flow and that energy, then you'll be able to attract that wealth or anything else to you that you desire. It's about focusing on it, right? And taking those actions, those inspired actions. So, really it comes down to, what would it take for you to open up to that flow, right? Of wealth and abundance, love and joy in your life. Claim it, visualize it, know that it's coming, know that it's happening, know that it exists right now. Because, as soon as you have that thought, and I would say the thought from your heart space, not from your head, as soon as you have that, it's already created in an alternate dimension, reality, whatever you want to call it. And then it's about taking those actions to bring it closer to you, right? Bring it to fruition here, to manifest it here, to actualize it here, in this 3D reality. But we all can do that, right? And so it's not just the few that can do that, like Tony Robbins, or the it sounds funny, the Virgin guy, but I can't remember his name at the moment. I see his face, Richard Branson, right? It's not just people like that, or Jack Canfield, but we can all do that. But it does take focus. It takes some creativity. It takes action. But first, you have to get into the flow of spirit. And like, some people may not know that what they're doing is getting into the flow, right? But they're feeling it within themselves. They're in their heart space, and they're feeling that energy. They're feeling that connection. It doesn't have to be a religious thing at all, but it's about being in that energy, being in that space, feeling it, visualizing it, really creating that vision for yourself first internally, and then start to create those steps externally, right? And in the outer, and start to manifest them. But first you have to have that strong experience internally. And so that means being connected to spirit. So one of the ways that I connect to spirit regularly, an easy way, I do meditate, I do have certain rituals and all that wonderful stuff, but I call upon my higher self to embody my consciousness now. So, one of the things I do is I first ground myself into the earth, because I'm a thinker, right? So I'm always thinking out there. So I need to physically be present in this reality. So I focus on the bottom of my feet, or sometimes I'll imagine that there are roots growing out of my feet, going deep into the ground, to ground myself, to be physically present in my body, because you need to embody your consciousness fully in this reality in order to take action, proper action, or accurate action, what the right word is, for it to be fulfilled in this reality, right? So I do that, and I take a few deep breaths, and I center in my heart space, and then I call upon my higher self to embody my consciousness now. So then, I say it a few times. Usually I say it 3 times, so that I can really feel the presence of my higher self in my being, in my physical being, in my energy field. And then from that space, I start to create. What do I want? I start to ask myself questions. What would I like to create today? What would I like to work on today? Well, what really brings me joy? How do I want to express myself? What does success look like to me? Right? So I ask those kinds of questions, and I ask, okay, what would I like to generate in my life today? Or, for the next 3 months or something, it's like, what's really calling me to create new projects, new programs, who do I want to see? I ask those types of questions, and then I wait for the messages or the insights, to come to me, and then I take action. And I find that helps a lot. But then it's also about, feeding those projects with my energy as well. It's like sending light to it, sending love to it, or asking certain projects, what do you require? What do you need from me today? What can I do to expand this business, for example, I could say, and then I wait for those insights to come. But I'm always first connected to my heart space before I do anything else. I find that's the easiest way to do it, rather than trying to create everything in my mind, trying to figure it all out, trying to push, which I'll be honest, I used to do in the past, right? But now I've gotten a bit smarter. So I go to my heart space first, and I visualize everything, and I really feel into it. And I ask my soul, I ask my higher self, what did I come here to do? What did I come here to experience? What did I come here to express? And what can I do now, right? So what's calling me now, today, in this month? And sometimes it's nothing. It's like, okay, I think I'm taking a break, but I'm not really taking a break. I'm integrating, energies and so on and so forth. So I'm still doing the work, but I'm waiting for the right time, the divine timing, right? Which we don't always like to talk about. So we're going to talk about that some more when we come back from break. We're going to talk more about what does wealth mean to you, and we're going to do another process coming up soon as well. So come back to Living with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio with Shefali Burns.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello! Join us, Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter, every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. Get ready to become present, clear, and unstuck, and start living fully, led by your heart. While you listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song, you'll open up to what's possible and experience your shift.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hello, everyone. We are back on Living with Moxie. I'm your host, Shefali Burns. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to touch on success. We talked a little bit about it, but I want to talk a little bit more about what is success and what is the definition of success. So the definition of success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, or the attainment of popularity or profit, or a person or thing that achieves desired aims or attains prosperity. So success can really be in any area of your life, business, love life, family, right? It's not always have to do with business. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel successful? Do you have success in your life? So yes, why? In what way? And no, why not? What is missing? Right? So we talked a little bit already about can you have success without spirit? Um, and maybe you can in limited ways, but not sustainable ways and not for the long term. So we already talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to share just a tad more in case I missed something. When you are connected to spirit, when you're aligned with spirit, you'll be successful in all areas of your life as long as you're following the inner nudges, the messages from spirit, and being in the flow. It really means getting out of your head and being in the heart and taking inspired action, right? Which means actions taken through a connection with spirit. It also means being of service to others as well as to yourself. Because the more connected you are to spirit, you will want to be doing more for humanity, for society. And so, for example, when 6 years ago, I don't know, time just goes by so fast, I'm losing track. But I used to work in the government and I was unfulfilled, right? So I quit my government job and I started doing telesummits, and so I'm still doing, Awaken to Happiness now. We're just finishing up season 10 and I love it, but it's successful, because as an example for me, success isn't always about money or prestige or power, but it's about, hey, I did something that I've never done before and I'm good at it, or I enjoy it, so for me, it's about the enjoying part, right? And it comes easily to me, or it feels that way most days. So, that for me, that's success, right? And I didn't feel successful in my government job because I was not enjoying it, right? So for me, having joy in my life, um, means being successful. So for me, I'm quite successful in that way, in my business, in my love life, in my family life. It's all good, right? So what does it mean to you, right? What does success mean to you? I also want to share a little bit about success. Like I said, it's about being of service, and so my telesummit is it's all about being of service. And I'm a coach, and that's also being of service. I'm a healer, that's also being of service to others. But you also should also include yourself in that mix. So it's not just about being of service to everybody else and not to yourself. So that's not success in my book, anyways. So you have to take care of yourself too. You have to always think of yourself as well. So what would it take for you to have success? So bring to mind all of the times that you had thoughts, feelings, emotions around success, having success, not having success, not understanding what success means. So let them all come up to the surface and ask yourself, are they true for you at this time? Do those thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, do they work for you? So yes or no. So if they are not true for you, would you like to let them go, to release them? So we're going to just do another clearing exercise on this. So take a deep breath, focus on your heart space. So everywhere, in all times, dimensions, spaces, and realities where you held the beliefs around success that no longer serve you, are you willing to let them go? Yes? Take a deep breath. Breathe in, ease, joy, love, and light. And breathe out everything that no longer serves you around success. So just imagine those thoughts, feelings, emotions, energies, they're all leaving your energy field and your being and going down deep into Mother Earth to be transmuted. So just let them go. And we're going to take another deep breath and breathe in, ease, joy, love, and light. and breathe out what no longer serves you around success. So how I felt a really big release there. It was so heavy before. So how are you feeling now? So as you're letting go of these limiting thoughts and beliefs and emotions and energies around success, having success, not having success, you're becoming lighter and more expansive. So now we want to bring in more energies of pure divine love. Just take a deep breath. We're going to bring in pure divine love, pure divine abundance, pure divine wealth, and pure divine joy to fill up your being even more, so that you can start to really feel that connection to spirit, feel that connection to the flow, feel that connection to more of who you truly are. Perfect. Wonderful. So, like I said, success means different things to different people, right? So, for you, success may mean that your business is doing really well monetarily, right? Business-wise, like money-wise, or you could have clients that you just absolutely love to work with, that's success, right? Or you could be have a community of people that you really enjoy hanging out with, sharing your wisdom with, teaching, learning, that's being successful. But I think for me, it really comes down to, am I enjoying it? What do I enjoy, right? There are, of course, there's always some tedious tasks that we don't, right? But on the whole, are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you enjoying how you're expressing yourself? Because as you're doing your business, for example, if you have a business, you're expressing yourself through your business, right? If you are working, you are expressing yourself through your career, through your work, right? If you have a family, you are expressing yourself through the family in every interaction that you have and with every engagement that you have. So, what does that look like for you? So like I said, success is in all areas, so if you have a family that is all, whatever, however you define family to be, loving, caring, supportive, all getting along really well all the time, and you get to see them all the time, whatever that looks like for you. If all that is going well, then yeah, you're a success, right? Or you have a successful family, right? So, and if it's not, then you don't feel very good, right? So that's one of the things that I think, my mother, for example, is challenged with. She would like her family, our family, to be closer, right? But there's some members of the family who don't get along, and so there's always that tension and that friction, and she can't invite everybody all at once because they're not going to be in the same room together. So for her, the family is not a success, right? Unfortunately. But for others, it is a success. So, it really comes down to, how is it working for you? What is working for you, right? And same thing with a love life. Obviously, that's an easy one to understand, right? And wrap our heads around, because if you're happy and you're in love and you have a good relationship, then that's a success. If you're not, then it's not, and there's something has to shift and change, right? And so that's the thing with success. It's like, you can change it, right? So if you are in business and you're not successful the way that you define success to be, and you'd like it to change, you can. There are steps you can take to start to shift that. And it all starts at the, in the doing the inner work first, right? And then doing the outer work. So sometimes it might be, maybe you're just not working with the right clients, or maybe there are systems that you need to put in place in your business that will make things run more smoothly and more efficiently. Maybe you just need to send a lot of love to your business and to your clients that you have right now, and to your potential clients that are coming to you in the future, right? And really feel that connection with them. So do the inner work first, and then start to do the outer work as well. And that's what I think some people, in the in this industry, they don't realize that you have to do both. You can't just do one and not the other. And it's better if you can do the energy work or the inner work first and then the outer work, because then the outer work comes more easily instead of just pushing on the outer and then getting frustrated because it's not working, right? So we have to work on ourselves first and our business. You know, there are two separate entities, right? So work on yourself and work on the energy of your business as well, to start shifting that so that, you know, you can create that outer manifestation. And sometimes people don't realize that the business is an energy entity of itself, you know, but it is. I think, you know, there are other shows on OMTimes Radio where they talk about Akashic records, right? And you know, there are Akashic records for a business, right? So there, you know, they have Akashic records for the individual, and there are records for the business as well. So, you know, it's a separate entity, so you have to look at it that way as well, you know. I know, where did that come from? Maybe I need to look at the Akashic records for my business and see what's going on, see what needs to shift, or see what more I would like to create or add to it, you know, that would be fun for me. So always remember about having fun. What would be fun for you? What would bring you more joy? You know, what feels easy for you? Focus on that more, and then the other stuff will just not be as tedious, right? And of course, you know, when you have your own business, you can always, what's the word? Whew, it's gone. But you know, you can farm out some of the work, right? Some of the work that you don't like. Give it to other people who are maybe better at it, right? More efficient at it than you are. You know, just so let them do that work so you can focus on more of what you enjoy, you know, and that way the energy for the business will be lighter too. So then you'll start to see more success in that area of your business. But it's always first about connecting to spirit, connecting within first, and then doing the outer work. So we'll be back here on Living with Moxie. I'm Shefali Burns, and we are talking about can you have success without spirit? So we'll be back in just a few moments.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Want to know some fun facts about colonoscopies? Colon cancer is 90% preventable. A colonoscopy can detect and prevent colon cancer in one fell swoop. But here's a not-so-fun fact. Lots of people are so uncomfortable even talking about a colonoscopy that they never get one. If you're 50 or 45 for African Americans, get screened now. Maybe even earlier if you have a family history. To schedule a screening today, visit StopColonCancerNow.com.
Hello, everyone. We are back on Living with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio. I'm your host, Shefali Burns. Totally missing my co-host, Donna Martouche. And I know she's well, she's busy. There's stuff going on right now for all of us, you know, in our lives, business and personal, right? So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, I was talking about outsourcing. Couldn't remember the word earlier, but I was talking about outsourcing, right? So that you can focus on what works for you and what you enjoy, and letting other people do the work that you really don't like and that they may be more efficient at or better at. But it's also about working as a team, right? With if you have employees, working with your employees, your assistants, but also with spirit. Working, spirit is part of your team, right? Your angels, your guides, God, the divine, the creator is part of your team. And so we should look at the divine, spirit in that way as part of our team to do whatever it is that we came here to do, or whatever it is that we would like to do, so that we can have success with spirit, right, as our team member. So how many of you have thought about spirit as your teammate, as a member of your team who is supporting you and guiding you and helping you in your life for your highest good? How many of you have thought of that? Probably not very many, right? But, to be honest, I think for myself in my life, I have always felt like I've been pulled and dragged sometimes, but guided by something, right? All my life. And, it's interesting now when I look back, it's like, oh, that was just God. That was just the divine. That was my higher self, that were all of my guides and angels who, were letting me know that they were with me, that I wasn't alone, that we were doing this together. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I always did everything on my own, by myself. I didn't think I had support. I remember saying that so many times. It's like, I don't have support. So many times. Like, it's crazy. But, when I look back, as I realize how supported I really am, how I am working as a team with, my assistants in the 3D reality, my family in the 3D reality, my friends in the 3D reality, as well as my divine support team, with spirit, right? So, it's about asking spirit to take care of some of those burdens, but it's not just about the burdens, but it's also asking spirit for insights for what is, the next step, right? And so, yes, I'm hearing people saying, but I don't know what the next step is. Ask, like, talk to spirit on a regular basis, connect with spirit on a regular basis. And if you don't know who that is, it's okay. Just say higher self. Just say, okay, angels, please help me out. And the thing is, you have to do it more than once. Yes, I know they say they're always listening, they're always with us, they're always, yeah, but you know what? It's for you that you're saying it over again and over again, so that you will stay focused, so that you will stay connected, so that you will not get caught up in the sometimes mundane reality, right? So that's why I'm saying, yes, ask again. Yes, say it again, a couple of times. It's not for them. They don't even need to hear the words. They get the essence already, so that's not the issue at all, but it's for us. Because we get carried away by little things, right? We have that shiny object syndrome a lot, and we just get sidetracked, right? So it's about using our team to, help us out, to be effective, so that we can be, the success that we came here to be, right? And yes, spirit always has our back. It's just up to us to ask for it and to claim it, to claim that co-creation, to claim that co-creator foundation, right? So are you going to, today, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to challenge you to, call out to your team and ask them just a simple question. Don't say, okay, bring me $1 million, but a simple question. What's my next step in my business? Be specific. And then wait for that answer. See what happens. See what comes up to you. And it's not going to be a booming voice. It's usually going to be some sort of thought or feeling that you get, or you might read something, or you might hear something, or a song may come on, or you might hear something on the TV, or somebody, might say something to you, and that that's it, but be aware. Try to consciously be aware of that. So ask your question and then be aware of the question that you asked, so that when you start to receive messages, you'll know, oh, I'm getting this because I asked this question, right? So we can all do this on a regular basis, and we should. We absolutely should. So can you have success without spirit? I don't think so. But can you be successful with spirit? Absolutely. And, one of the things that I do every day, a couple of times a day, is to connect into Mother Earth, to be grounded. So however you define groundedness to be, right? So I'm not talking about being centered, that's a separate piece, but being grounded. So some people, I was taught ground into Mother Earth. So, I imagine roots growing out of my feet, going deep into the ground, to center, to ground myself. Some people ground into their third chakra. Go ahead, whatever works for you, right? Some people see a column of, golden white light coming down from the great central sun, going deep into the ground. That helps us both to ground and to connect with both, right? So, there are many, many different ways, but the first thing is to always be grounded, and then go to your heart space and, really connect to spirit in some way, however that works for you. So so I do like to call in the light to come down from the great central sun down into my entire being and really feel it. Or I just call in my higher self, to come and embody my consciousness. I find that works for me. But, it's whatever you get into, right? So do that on a regular basis, just to feel that connection, just to feel that energy, and then start to ask the questions. Just talk to the divine as if they're a friend, or an assistant, right? Whatever works for you. They're a member of your team. And, just with respect, not demanding, just with respect. And just ask them, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you please show me what my next step is? And you can ask them to show you in a clear way so that you understand it, and then wait and see what happens, and then take action. And I think a lot of times people miss the message, miss the insight, miss the nudge, and then they don't take action, and they're just waiting and waiting and waiting. So unfortunately, then they don't do anything, and then they wonder why they're not successful. So, but even if you don't get a message that you understand, just take some sort of action, every day take action. And then eventually you will feel that connection. You will get those messages. You will get those insights and those nudges. It's not going to be the way you think it's going to be. It's not going to look the way you think it's going to look. It never does, right? But be open to it. Be, really open to it. Like, what have you got to lose, right? And so success for me means that being connected to spirit. It's to me success. Feeling that energy, feeling that love, feeling that support, feeling that divinity within me. That is success. And knowing, I'm never alone and it'll all work out. That's one of the things I say all the time. Don't worry, it'll all work out. It'll, somehow it'll all work out, this or something better. So, always, have a vision for what it is that you want, and then, say to the divine, say to spirit, well, this is what I want, but this or something better, right? So can you please help me to create this, to generate this, to experience this, this or something better? Because sometimes we limit ourselves even with that, with our choices, with what we are choosing for ourselves. We're limiting ourselves. So can you have success without spirit? No. Maybe a little bit now and then, but not long term. So I really hope you enjoyed this conversation today about having success with spirit is really what it's about. Tapping in to source, to spirit, and really feeling that connection and asking for that help, asking for the guidance, asking for the insights, making spirit be a part of your team, inviting them to be a part of your team. I think is really important, and building that relationship, and nurturing that relationship on a daily basis. the more you do it, the more you'll get it, and the more you'll start to see the results. Absolutely. So next week, I know we're going to be ending in a moment. Next week, we're going to be talking about, there's a saying that people don't change, yet we see so many people transform their lives. So next week, we're going to talk about some true stories about transformation. So I'm looking forward to that because, I'll share my story. I think Donna will share her story. Plus, we have many other stories to share with you as well about transformation so that you know that it is possible. People do change. Circumstances do change. Things do get better. And so I'm excited to talk to all of you again next week about that. Let's see. And Donna will be back with us next week, so it won't be just me. So I'm looking forward to that. So until then, think about, those areas where you're thinking about spirituality and wealth, or you're thinking about success, where those thoughts are not working for you anymore. Start writing them down and then start to let them go. Right? So start to let them go and see how that starts to shift and change your reality. So until next week, this is Shefali Burns on Living with Moxie. Have a great week, and I look forward to sharing stories of transformation with you next week. Bye for now.